So now we'll be discussing a topic named as in case of common base characteristics. So as we said, it's a two-port network. Since it's a two-port network, okay, we'll be getting two characteristics. One is input characteristics and one more it is output characteristics. So first we'll be discussing on input characteristics. Okay. So now in case of your common base, let me say I'll draw the structure of your NPN transistor. Okay, emitter has to be, sorry, your collector has to have higher width, base should have less width, and emitter should have medium width. So with respect to width of the three regions, collector will be having highest width, then comes emitter, then comes your base, right? So these are the three terminals of a transistor. So this is your emitter, base, and collector. So since it's a NPN transistor, so NPN. Okay. Now we are using common base. So base is common to both my input port as well as to my output port. Okay. The voltage, what is being seen on the input side is VBE. Okay. Input, what is voltage, what is being seen onto the side is VBE. And the current which flows into this input loop is the current IE. Is the current IE. Okay, and so since your base is common, okay, so this is the direction of your current IV. Okay, and next on the output side, we'll be having the voltage. We call this voltage as VCB. We call this voltage as VCB. Okay, and we know we have IC is going to flow. Our IC will flow in this particular direction. Fine. Okay. Now, in order to understand this topic of this input characteristics, one topic which will be beautifully explained in case of Razavi book, okay, is nothing but the topic of early effect. The topic of early effect. So this you have to understand it. In most of the books, this topic is hidden. They have explained it, but not explicitly. It is been defined something implicit during the interaction itself. They talk about that concept. Okay, but one should know about this particular topic. That is nothing but early effect. Okay, now in order to make a good understanding as well as good analysis of how we are going to get this input characteristics, okay, how we are going to get this input characteristics. So what we'll do is, for what we're going to do is, we are going to analyze this particular transistor in a two diode model. We're going to analyze this uh, transistor as a two diode model. So wherein we know that this is our one diode, okay, this is the other diode. Okay, so this is, let me say, this is diode D1, diode D2. So hence this is junction J1 and junction J2. So this is indicating your emitter, this is indicating your base, this is indicating your collector. Okay, is it clear to you? Okay, now what is that I need to understand over here is, in order to get this input characteristics, we have to again operate this transistor in an active mode. We have to operate this transistor in an active mode. Okay, we have to operate this transistor in active mode. It means my diode D1 has to be forward biased. My diode D1 has to be forward biased, so that I can get what is input characteristics. So input characteristics means what? It is the plot of input current versus input voltage. Okay, for different values of output, for different value of output voltage, for different value of output voltage. So I'm going to get, or I'm going to interact on this input characteristics by plotting a graph of input current, so plotting graph of input current versus input voltage for different values of output voltage. Okay, for different values of this output voltage. Now first we'll identify the terms, that that is what is my input current, what is my input voltage, and what is the output current and all. Now let me say that in case of input current, in case of my input current, so this is nothing but my IE. So since this is indicating my input port, so since this is indicating my input port, the current that is going to flow into the circuit is my input current. So it is nothing but my IE. Then I want to talk about the input voltage. What is the input voltage? It's the voltage what is being applied. It's the voltage what is being applied on the input port, which is nothing but the VBE. Okay, input voltage is nothing but VBE. Now I want to know what is my output current and output voltage. Now the current that flows onto this output side, the current that flows onto the output port is IC. It means my output current is IC, and the voltage what is seen onto the output terminal, voltage what is seen onto the output terminal is VCB. Is VCB. It means my output voltage in this case is VCB. So in very simple statement, I could say that for different values of VCB, I'm going to plot a graph of IE versus VBE or VB versus IE. Okay. Now, so since we have defined the two diode model, wherein we have indicated diode D1, diode D2, indicating my emitter, base, and collector. So which is nothing but this being my N side, okay, N, this being my positive side P, and this is once again my N side, an NPN transistor. Okay. Now, what is that we'll be doing over here is, so if I observe in this two transistor diode approach, I am going to plot a graph for this particular diode. Do you agree? So this gives me my input characteristics. This gives me my input characteristics. Understanding? So I just want to analyze how is the voltage current relationship is being seen when this diode D1 is forward biased. When this diode D1 is forward biased. Now, since I know that what is my input voltage and what is my input current, so I can define it on terms of in terms of my axis. Okay, so this is my VBE, which is defined in terms of volts. The VBE defined in terms of volts, and this is my IE, input current, defined in terms of milliamps. Okay, now I'm having a silicon diode over here. You forget about this section. Okay, so as I've studied people that you're going to operate your transistor in the active mode, so it means your emitter base junction has to be forward biased. So it means what will be connecting now? You'll be connecting negative terminal over here, positive will be connected to your base. So this has been grounded. Okay, you don't worry about this part, you forget it. So at present, you just think about this section. Now, negative is connected to negative, positive is connected to positive. It means this diode D1 is forward biased. So when diode D1 is forward biased, I know the forward bias characteristics of the diode. Wherein, since this diode D1 is fabricated of silicon material, so this V gamma, junction voltage, barrier voltage, forward breakdown voltage, whatever you want to call it as. So this V gamma will be 0.7 volts. This V gamma will be 0.7 volts. So it simply means that until your input voltage, that is VBE, exceeds V gamma, there is a very small current which is going to flow. Moment when this applied voltage VBE exceeds your V gamma, when it exceeds V gamma, so at that time current is going to rise exponentially. Current is going to rise exponentially. So this is your input characteristics of your transistor operating in common base configuration. Common base configuration. Okay, so this is your input characteristics of the transistor. Is it fine? Now we will more concentrate on a topic what we said it something called as an early effect. What is that early effect? So this concept of early effect was being introduced by a physicist named as James M. Early. James M. Early. Hence, the concept is being named by his name as early effect. It's been named by his name early effect. So this concept, I can even say it as base width modulator. Base width modulator. I can say it as a base width modulator. Okay, so now let me say that we shall have the base width diagram of our NPN transistor. Okay, so this is the collector, the base, okay, and this is the emitter. Okay, now this is emitter, base, collector. So this is N, P, N. Fine. Now, since I'm having this junction J1, okay, and I'm having this junction J2. Now what is that I need to understand over here is, now on this junction J2, okay, I'll be having the, since this is N type of material, some holes will be on this side, okay, and since this is a P type of material, okay, I'll be having some electrons. So if I just draw a line of this junction, so here I can see that this is the width of my junction. This is the width of my junction. So this is my junction J1 actually. This is my junction J1. Okay. If you want, I can draw it a little bit thicker. So this is my junction J1. Okay. This is my junction J2. Okay. Now here I am showing that since N type of material, or this element is made up of N type of material, I am having holes over here, and since here P type of materials is there, I am having electrons. Okay. Now let me say that, let this complete width, between junction J1 and junction J2, or excess part of this, okay, let it indicate the width of your base. Junction J1, sorry, this is junction J1, let me write here, and this is your junction J2. This line is not there. So you are having junction J2. Let this indicate width of base, WB. Okay, WB, let me write here, WB is talking about width of base, is talking of width of base region. Okay, then let W be the width, let W be the width which is talking, so let me say this section, W be the width where this particular electrons are forming onto your junction J2, and W effective, let me call this W effective, is the area where neither electrons are there nor holes are there. It's a free region, it's a mobile region. Okay, it's a free region. Then by seeing this diagram, I can simply write that WB, with the help of mathematical equation, my WB is equals to W plus W effective. Okay, WB is equals to W plus W effective. Now, if I want to write the same equation for W effective, okay, if I want to write the equation for W effective, what is that I can write? My WB minus W. My WB minus W. What is W effective? It is a free region. It's a mobile region. So here, neither electrons are there nor holes are there. So this is a free region. So this is what I'm calling it as W effective. So this is a mobile region or a free region. What is WB? It's width of the base, a complete width of the base between the junction J1 and J2. What is this W? It is the width wherein a junction is formed. It's the width where actual junction is formed. Understanding? Now when I start reverse biasing this voltage, when I start increasing the output voltage, okay, nothing but my VCB. Let me show you in terms of a diagram. Okay, over here. So I'm talking about this voltage now. So this should be VCB. So since this should be reverse biased, so since this is a negative terminal, I'll be connecting the positive terminal over here. Yes or no? Since this is positive, okay, and this should be my negative because it has to be reverse biased. So since this is N, I'm connecting positive terminal of battery, and since this is positive, I'm connecting negative terminal of the battery. So now this is reverse biased, and this voltage I'm calling it as VCB because collector is at the higher potential than compared to the base, right? Now when I increase this voltage, that is I'm increasing a reverse bias voltage. It's the meaning of that. I'm increasing this VCB. So when I increase this VCB, what happens? It's a very interesting term. So when I increase this VCB, I just take this as a reference that you can understand it. So when I increase this VCB, when I increase this VCB, when I increase this VCB, okay. So at that time, you see in the equation what is happening. Now VCB is increasing. So since VCB is increasing, your W is increasing. Your W is increasing. It means what? Your W is talking about this recombination. This recombination. So this W is increasing. This junction, it is increasing. If W is increasing, what is happening to this region where it was free, a mobile region? So since VCB is increased, W is increased. Since W is increased, what is happening to your V effective? Yes, I want answer from your side in the group chat so that I'll be able to understand that you have been uh, observing my interaction. What happens to this W effective? Okay. Yes, please answer me in the group chat. Yes, good. This W effective has to decrease. Very good. Only two students are able to answer the question. Okay, so your W effective, it is going to decrease. Now, since your W effective is going to decrease, what it makes? So it means here electrons are seeing more. So it means your IE is going to increase. Your IE is going to increase. I simply mean to say, now I'll make you understand this early effect with the help of a graphical representation. I'll draw it over here, a VI characteristics of your transistor. So this is your VBE, this is your IE, and this is your VB, your barrier voltage. Okay. So let me say that when my VCB was equals to 1 volts, my VCB was equals to 1 volts, that is this voltage, and my VCB was equals to 1 volts. Okay, by setting the output voltage, I was increasing this VEB voltage. sorry, my VBE voltage, my VBE voltage. So at that time, as my VBE is greater than that of VB, I am able to see that once this junction voltage or barrier voltage is broken, or it is higher than that of this barrier voltage, so current is seen to rise exponentially. So this characteristics is seen at a voltage VCB is equals to 1 volts. This is what I'm saying here. Now, if I increase this VCB from 1 volt to, let me say, 5 volts, if I increase this VCB from 1 volts to 5 volts, what happens? As I'm saying you that if I increase this VCB, sorry, as I'm saying you that if I increase this VCB, so when I increase this VCB, so this W increases. Recombination of your electrons and holes, whatever is there, so this junction is going to increase. So since this junction increases, so free region decreases, W effective decreases. So it means throughout this, what are having electrons. So it means value of IE should shoot very sharply. Value of IE should shoot very sharply. For a same transistor, if at all, if I keep VCB is equals to 5 volts, so however, I cannot make the conduction to happen prior to VB. So conduction will happen after VB only, or when my VB is greater than that of VB. But the rise of current, amount of electrons ejected from the emitter, so that will be seen like this. Understanding? So this is the response which is being seen when your VCB is equals to 5 volts. So this is called as early effect. That is, same amount of electrons is being seen in this response prior to what was seen over here. Understanding? If I increase this VCB still, then you may find a very sharp increase in current. This may be in case of your VCB equal to 15 volts or 20 volts. This is how you can go on increasing your VCB, and you can see this early effect into your transistor. Understanding? So this is what the best what we can analyze. This is what the best we can analyze in case of your input characteristics of transistor. So in short, if at all, if you don't want to interact with respect to the width, I can simply say that if VCB is increased, then proportionately IE is also going to increase. So this is the cause and this is the effect. This is the cause and this is the effect. You can see here, when VCB is increased, IE is also increased. So VCB being the cause, and effect of that is increase in the value of current IE. Understanding? But I have made an attempt to and make you understand why this is increasing. Why this is increasing? Because since this space over here, or your barrier or junction, whatever is there, it has got reduced. So you are getting much space for your electrons. So since you're getting much space for electrons, the rapid increase of availability of electrons or mobility of electrons is witnessed, and hence your value of IE is going to increase. Okay, is it clear to you? Fine. Yes, is the topic clear to you? It's a very interesting topic. Okay, fine. So we'll be discussing the last topic for the session. Okay, after which we'll wind up the session. The last topic is output characteristics for a common base operation of a transistor. Okay, don't feel it's a CBT. It's not CBT. It is common base operation of your transistor. Okay. Now, what we'll do over here is we'll once again take our structural diagram of our transistor. Collector should be more, base should be less, emitter should be medium. Okay, so this is my section. So this is N, P, and N. This is my emitter, base, and collector. Okay, now let me say that my base is common. So this voltage is VBE, this current is IE, this current what is going to flow, it is my IB, and this current is IC. The potential what is being seen over here is VCB. Now I am going to plot an output characteristics. My intention is to plot an output characteristics. So when I want to plot this output characteristics, what is that I need to first identify is my output parameters. So my output voltage, let me write in short, output voltage is VCB. Output voltage is VCB. My output current is IC, and my input current II is IE. My input voltage is VBE. Now I am going to plot output voltage versus output current for different values of input current, for different values of input current. Okay, now, so what we'll do over here is, so once again we'll analyze it as a two transistor model. Sorry, we'll analyze this as a two diode model. Okay, wherein we'll have two diodes. Okay, so this is our diode 1, this is my diode 2, so this is diode D1, and this is diode D2. So this is junction 1, junction 2. So this is indicating my emitter, a base, and a collector. Okay, so now since again my transistor is going to be operated in the active mode, so I need to remember that this diode has to be forward biased and this diode has to be reverse biased. Understanding? This diode has to be reverse biased. Now, when I'm building the output characteristics, you need to just remember that you are developing the reverse bias characteristics of a diode. You are developing the reverse bias characteristics of diode. You are building the reverse bias characteristics of the diode. Now, if at all if I take a plot of VCB versus your IC, VCB versus that of your IC. Okay, now I know one equation when we are able to derive it, saying that my current IC will be equal to alpha times that of IE plus ICBO. Okay, now we know that this leakage current can be ignored. So in that case, my current IC will be equal to alpha times that of IE. Now, since I know that the value of alpha will be equal to 0.95 to 0.98, which means around 5% to 2% of electrons are only going to combine in the base. Remaining all current emitted from the emitter will be found on the collector side. So I can just approximate this equation as IC is equals to IE. IC is equals to IE. It means my output current will be equal to my input current. So this is my approximation to make you people understand the concept. Now let me say that if my input current is zero, what about my output current? My output current also will be zero. My output current will also be zero. Now, if at all, if I say that I am having some magnitude of my input current, let me say it is some 2 milliamps or 3 milliamps. Let me say I am having my input current as 1 milliamp. Then my output current will also be 1 milliamp. Okay. Now it is not directly rising to 1 milliamp. Instantaneously, it is not rising to 1 milliamp because, as we said, that this diode has got some internal resistance, RD. And since we are applying some reverse voltage, so this change, this saturation is being seen in linear path. So, so this diode is able to witness this maximum current not instantaneously, not instantaneously like this. It is able to see it something slightly linearly. Understanding? So if at all, if I increase my input current, so this is for my input current, IE equals to 1 milliamp. So since my IE is 1 milliamp, my IC is also 1 milliamp. Now when I increase the value of IE from 1 milliamp to 2 milliamp, so you can get your IE as 2 milliamp, then your IC will also be equal to 2 milliamp. Understanding? So if I go on increasing the value of my input current, okay, so this is my input current, I equal to 3 milliamp, then my IC will also be equal to 3 milliamp. So I am able to witness the equation IC is equals to that of IE. Now, a very important thing. Now, no doubt you have reverse bias this diode and getting this characteristics. So if you still go on increasing this reverse bias voltage, what happens? Definitely, a breakdown should occur. So when that breakdown occurs, current increases exponentially, rapidly, somewhat like this. So since I want to show the one more concept over here, so I can show it like this. Your value of current, so this has been seen only at breakdown. So only when breakdown occurs, after entering into saturation region, still if you increase your VCB, your reverse voltage, still if you increase your reverse voltage, so at that time a breakdown in the diode is seen and current rises very sharply. Okay, this may damage your diode for its complete span, so you cannot use a diode in future. Okay, but this section this section is rarely witnessed. This section is rarely witnessed. So moment we know what is our maximum reverse voltage that can be handled by the diode, we never apply any voltage beyond its limit. But still I'm giving you the input saying that if at all if you increase your reverse voltage, if at all if you still increase your reverse voltage, so at that time this breakdown is going to occur and current through your diode will rise very sharply. Current through your diode will rise very sharply. Is it clear? So this is indicating the output characteristics of your diode. So output characteristics of your transistor. So wherein a transistor is operating in a common base configuration. Okay. Is this concept clear to you people? Okay.